Hi everyone, welcome to class. I'm Kate. I'm an English teacher here on Verbling. And I want to apologize for the delay in starting class. I was having trouble connecting and loading the class. So anyway, we'll get started now. So welcome everyone. Today's class is for intermediate students. It's a grammar-focused class on direct and indirect speech, otherwise known as reported speech. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Mustafa.
Hi, teacher.
How are you doing?
I am good. And you?
I'm doing well. What have you been up to this week?
Up to this week, attending Vapling classes. Uh, yeah, and actually, I was trying to read maybe sometimes, and sometimes a little bit watch movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also, but I am focusing also about like Tony Robbins, if you heard about him.
Yes, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am trying to complete some of his courses.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think you mentioned that earlier, right?
Tony?
No, I guess not. Yes, okay. All right. Okay. And what was I going to ask you? Um, okay, so you have already been to the United States, and do you think you could see yourself moving back there, Mustafa?
Sorry, teacher, I can't hear you.
Ah, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay. So I know you've spent some time in the United States. Do you think you would ever live there again?
if I have a chance, maybe.
Yes?
Of course, I'll go.
And would you want to go back to, where were you again?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Actually, teacher, if I want to talk about Oklahoma, Oklahoma is like quite a place. So it's maybe I prefer to live in like a quiet city, so no crowded people or something like that. But if you have a car, maybe you can go to maybe Texas 4 hour and Kansas maybe city, something like this. So you can have maybe trip during the weekend or something like that.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, cool. And right now you just finished school and you're looking for a job, right?
Yeah, I just finished the university.
Mm-hmm. Nice, very nice. Did you graduate in May?
I don't know actually. I think it's 4 months ago. Yep.
4 months ago. Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Okay, so Mustafa, I think we should be waiting on some more students.
I don't
Um,
know.
isn't that strange? We said that it said that we should have 9 students in the class, so that's why I'm a little bit surprised. Did you have any trouble joining the
No,
class?
no.
No, okay. I wonder if maybe there was an issue because I had to start the class and then the link didn't work. And so I had to start the class in a new Hangout. So maybe people got confused. But I guess we can, start to talk about today's grammar topic, and we'll just sort of clue everyone in if people join us. So, Mustafa, have you ever studied reported speech or direct and indirect speech?
Actually, I didn't understand really what do you mean by direct and indirect speech, but I don't know. Can you explain to me more? And
Yes, absolutely. So imagine you have this sentence.
okay,
Tom said, I love soccer. This is an example of direct speech, okay, because it's within a quotation mark,
okay.
right? So it's something that's said directly by someone. Um, so what if we want to, if I ask you, what did Tom say? You can't verbally say, Tom said, quote, I love soccer, right? You have to rephrase that and sort of summarize what was said. Does that make sense? So, how do you do that? You use indirect speech.
No, But
What,
In English maybe no.
what's that?
In English, yes, no, no. I
Uh-huh.
that maybe. If I use it maybe before, it will be like unconscious. Yeah, so I didn't mean to use it maybe directly.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. And so, but you have heard of this. And let me just welcome Elena.
Elena,
Hi. Elena. Hi. How are you?
hi. Yeah, fine. Fine, thank you.
Good. Elena, where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
From Spain. Okay. I actually live in Spain.
Oh, great.
What part of Spain are you from?
I'm from, well, I live in a town near Burgos.
Oh, okay.
Aranda de Duero.
Yeah, very cool. I live in Barcelona.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, well, welcome. I was just, and Elena, did you have trouble joining the class?
No,
No. Okay.
no,
All right.
I was a bit late, but no.
Okay, no problem. Just because we had a lot of reservations, and I'm not sure if people maybe had trouble joining. Anyway.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe just sorry about
that's okay.
maybe because recently they're playing like give a permission to members to like take to book the classes. Maybe I was the permission was like three only, but now I can maybe take a reservation for maybe 10 or even I don't know what's the limit number of classes. So maybe they book before the 2 days or something like this, and they don't attend. I don't know,
Okay.
but it's not happened for you actually. The teacher actually on very playing just said the classes is full and maybe only four or three. So
Okay. I see what you mean. Okay. All right. Well, we might have a small class today, and that's all right. Okay. So Elena, have you studied reported speech before?
Yes,
Yes.
a lot
Okay.
of
So,
times.
sorry.
Yes, a lot of times
A lot
because
of times.
yeah, it's a grammatical issue that you should always review.
Yeah, and it can be quite difficult, right? There are a lot of different elements that you have to think about when you're transforming a sentence from direct to indirect or reported speech. Okay, good. And oh, we have another student. Jorge?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Hi, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm late,
Good.
sorry.
That's okay, no problem. We're actually just getting started. So Mustafa and I were talking about, a simple example of direct speech. And I gave the example of, it's in the Verbling chat box, the sentence, Tom said, comma, I love soccer, in quotation marks. Okay, so we know this is direct speech because it's literally a quotation, right? Someone said something, and we just repeated exactly what this person said. But as I was explaining to Mustafa, if I ask someone, what did Tom say? Maybe I didn't quite hear, or I was curious. They're not going to verbally use quotation marks to tell me what he said, right? They're going to rephrase his sentence, and that is indirect speech. So, if we want to change a sentence to indirect speech, in this example, we would use the following sentence. Tom said that he loved soccer. Okay, so let's compare these two sentences. What are some of the changes that I had to make to transform this sentence from direct to indirect speech?
We need that,
Mm-hmm.
and we put the verb love in past.
Mm-hmm. Good. So excellent. The verb changes from present to past. Okay. Anything else? There's one other thing that we changed in this sentence.
Of course, we
don't
change
have
the
quotation marks.
That's true, we don't have quotation marks. And Elena, what did you say?
yeah that of course we have to change the subject because in
Yes.
the first sentence the person say I, but we must say he.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we have to change subject and object pronouns, right? So in the first sentence, Tom is speaking directly, so he uses I. With indirect or reported speech, we have to change that pronoun to he, because now we're talking about him. We're talking in the third person. Okay. So,
Teacher,
yes.
sorry, teacher. Why you said reported speech? Why reported?
Why reported? Okay, so it's called either reported or indirect speech. You can call it either of those names, and it's because we're basically we're summarizing, we're reporting what someone said.
Oh, okay.
We're kind of putting it in our own words or rephrasing it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, perfect. All right.
I don't know, teacher.
Yeah.
After you like explain that, maybe I am using maybe a lot of indirect speech, and I don't know.
I'm sure it's something you have used, but there are, as Elena can tell you, there are a lot of different tense changes, and just a lot of things to take into account, to consider when you're changing a sentence from direct to direct speech. So we'll take a look at all of those changes. And it looks like Mahar is having trouble joining the class. What's the problem? Okay, so all right, so I'm going to do a run through of this grammar on direct and indirect speech, and then we'll just do a lot of practice. Okay, so we'll practice transforming sentences from direct to indirect or reported speech. All right. So, can everyone see this?
Yep.
All right.
Clear and
Yes.
shiny.
Yes. What's that?
Yes.
Clear and shiny.
Clear and shiny. We say crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
Crystal clear. Okay. Oh, and we have another student joining us. Yildirim.
Yeah. Hi, teacher.
Hi, welcome to class.
Welcome.
Okay, you're just in time. All right. So let's look at some examples. Okay, so before we look at all of the rules, we're going to see if we can figure out or get an idea of what changes we have to make to go from direct speech to indirect speech. So, Jorge, can you read these first two sentences in example 1?
Yes. Joe said, I love chocolate. Joe said that he loved chocolate.
Great. Okay, so so this is very similar to the example sentence I gave in the verbling box, right? And let's look at the things we changed. They're exactly what you all mentioned, right? So before you said we have to add that. Absolutely. Then the next thing we do, we change the pronoun, right? Since it's no longer a direct sentence, and now we're talking in the third person, we have to change from I to he. And then, what can be the trickiest is we have to change the verb tense. And here we're changing from what tense to what tense. Are we using in direct speech? And what tense do we use in the indirect version?
Past
Very
tense.
good. Yeah. So in direct, if the original sentence is in present tense, we have to change it to the past tense, the simple past. And why do you all think that is the case? So why would we be changing to the simple past here?
because it's an action in the past. Joe said.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. But then here, if it's an action in the past, why do we use the present in direct speech?
Because in this moment, it's I don't know how
No,
to
good.
say, but when he said this, he used present simple because it's an action usual or habitual.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's kind of capturing the moment. It's almost like we took a photograph or a video, right? And he's in the video, he says, "I love chocolate." Right? So even though this was in the past, it's a direct quotation. It's in that moment. Okay?
Teacher, sorry,
Yes.
it's like maybe you and your friend behind you, okay, or beside you, okay, and he said, "I love chocolate," and now you are trying to express what he said, or you say that instead of him, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you say that he loved chocolate, maybe, so maybe
Uh-huh.
it's more.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, and then a similar example here, right? Direct speech. Carmen said, "I am sick." And then if we're reporting this or using it indirectly, we would say, "Carmen said that she was sick." So the exact same changes are made here, right? Adding that, changing the pronoun, changing the tense.
Sorry, teacher, just
Yes.
I want to ask you, is that always we use that?
It's actually optional.
Ah,
It's recommended, right? It kind of gives your sentence a little bit more structure. We often leave it out, especially when we're speaking. So we'll often say, "Carmen said she was sick." Okay, so it's actually not totally necessary.
clear.
Okay, good question. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. Okay, so the first thing that complicates it is different verb tenses. Okay, so Mustafa, can you read example 3, those two sentences?
Okay, example 3. Joe said, "I ate some chocolate yesterday." Direct speech. Second, Joe said that he had eaten some chocolate the day before. Indirect
Great.
speech.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, and bye, Elena, no problem. Okay, so here, this is a little bit more complicated, right? So what changes are we making in this sentence? Well, the same as before, right? We have to put in that. We have to change the pronoun from I to he. And then we have a tense change. So the original verb, ate, what tense is that in?
Simple past.
And what does it change to?
Past perfect.
Yeah, past perfect. Okay, and so you can see that with these indirect speech sentences, we basically take the verb one step further back in the past, right? So if it's in present, the indirect speech will have a verb in past. If the verb is already in past, well, we go further back into the past, which is the past perfect. Okay, and then, yes.
Okay, teacher, sorry, just I am a little bit confusing. If we say it like have eaten, we cannot say it have eaten, and what's the difference if we say it have eaten? Because it's
So,
present perfect. Maybe we can say I have seen the movie.
okay, so if it were the present perfect, then if you say I have seen the movie, and I was trying to make the indirect version of that, I would have to say Mustafa said he had seen, past perfect, the movie.
Okay.
Okay, so so this is the simple past. Basically, what we do is we take the verb one step further into the past. Because think about it. In this sentence, imagine we go back to the past when Joe was saying this sentence, right? And in this moment in the past, when Joe said this, he was talking about a moment even further back in the past, right? So for that reason, when we're talking indirectly about this sentence, we say we have to use the past perfect to indicate that when he ate the chocolate, well, that was even before he said this sentence. It was further back in the past.
Okay, okay.
Okay. All right. I hope that helps a little bit. And I think it'll get more clear. Okay. And then another tricky thing is words like yesterday. So you know, words indicating time, right? We have to change. So yesterday here changes to the day before. Okay, because now it's not yesterday, it's the yesterday in relation to whatever day it was when he said this sentence.
Yeah, that's right. Because yesterday is like we select the time exactly, but the day before he didn't determine what's the day before.
Exactly. Good. Okay, great. And Jorge, can you read example 4?
Yes. Carmen said, I was sick last week. Direct speech. And Carmen said that he had been sick the week before. Indirect
Great.
speech.
Perfect. Okay, so a similar example, right? So what changes do you see from the direct to the indirect sentence?
We changed the pronoun or the subject. First person I for she. And we changed also the tense of the verb from the past into the past perfect.
Excellent.
And the adverb as well, because last week now is the week before.
Good. Absolutely, right? Because it's not last week anymore, it's the week before. Very good. Okay, let's look at some more examples. All right, so what happens if we have a different verb tense? Let's see, Mustafa, can you read these 2 sentences?
Okay, Joe said, German is doing homework. Direct speech. Joe said that German was doing homework. Indirect speech.
Okay, good. So here, you know, same changes as always, right? Adding that. Here we can keep the subject the same because he was already talking about someone in third person. And then what's happening with our verbs here? What tense is the first sentence using?
Continuous. Present continuous.
The present continuous. And here it changes to?
Past continuous.
Yeah, exactly. So basically all we have to change is the is to was, right? So if you have an auxiliary verb in the present simple, you're changing it to the past simple.
Yeah, and we don't have to change the homework because he did specify the time.
Exactly. Good. And Jorge, can you read example 6?
Carmen said, they will see a film tomorrow. And Carmen said that they would see a film the following day.
Okay, so here things get a little bit complicated as well, right? So, so what tense change do you see happening here?
We changed the future will into conditional would see.
Good, yeah, we use the modal verb would, or the kind of like a conditional. The modal verb would to talk about the future in.
Oh.
We lost the teacher.
Yeah, maybe her voice was like cutting for maybe sometimes. So.
Yeah, I think that the connection was bad. Maybe the voice was breaking. Yeah, he's here.
Sorry about that, everyone.
No problem.
Are you still there? Okay, my connection cut out for a second.
Okay.
Yes, okay, so when we have will, so the simple future, that changes to the modal verb would. And then tomorrow changes to the following day. So yesterday changed to the day before. Tomorrow changes to the following day. Okay? All right. More tenses. Don't worry, I think this is the last slide of verb tenses. Okay, so let's see. Mustafa, you're up. Can you read example 7?
Okay, example 7. Joe said, "You have not returned the book to me." Joe said that you or I had not returned the book to him. Indirect.
Okay. Yes. Good. Sorry. Indirect speech. Good. Okay, so a lot of changes happening here. First, what is the tense of this first example?
You have returned, not returned. Have returned. So it's present perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, so just like the example you asked about before.
Yeah.
So present perfect changes to?
Past perfect.
Past perfect. Good. Just one more step into the past. Okay, here we have a lot of weird pronoun changes.
What's happened?
Right? So why is it you or I? Why would we have this choice here?
Because you can be a second person of singular or second person in plural. If it's in singular, in the directive speech would be I. If it is plural, it would be you.
Okay. So here, when Joe said you have not returned the book to me, we don't actually know who you is, right? So it could be that he's talking direct to the person summarizing what he said, that was you, right? That was the person who has not returned the book. Or he could have been saying this to a third person, right, to someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that make sense? So here,
you can imagine, like, maybe maybe if you about the last action you say, it's like there are 3 people maybe, and one of them is talking about.
Right. So in that case, it would be you, right? Whereas if the person saying this indirect sentence was the you from the first sentence, we would use I. So it said that I had not returned the book to him. Okay, and notice that sometimes you'll have to change more than one pronoun, right? So here you have me, the object of a preposition, to, changes to him. So you have to be very careful and make sure you change all of those objects. Okay. And Jorge, can you read example 8?
Carmen said, "You can use my computer." And Carmen said that I could use her computer.
Okay. So again, if you have the verb can, right, for permission, we're using this in the past. It changes to could. And here it's similar, right? The you or I, well, it depends who you was in the first sentence. And just note that you have to change all of these pronouns and possessive pronouns as well, right? So my changes to her. Okay, so again, being very careful with all of these different little parts of the sentence.
To her.
Because now, right, you can use my computer. Well, now we're talking about her, so we have to say her computer.
We cannot say his if he was a boy.
If it were a boy, yes, we could say his. But here, I guess it's a girl.
Okay. Maybe, teacher, the tricky part is, and we'll see, maybe turn to would and maybe could.
Yes. Okay. So, But here, will was the future, right?
Yes. Yes.
Will is the future, and then we just use the modal verb would. If we have can is another modal, right? And we just put it sort of into its past form, which is could.
Okay.
Okay, so it's, yeah, it is similar actually. Yes. Okay. Finally, you have a good summary of how all of these change. Okay, so all of these tenses change from direct to reported speech. So, as you know, the present simple is changing to the past, right? So, regardless of whether that is the verb on its own, the main verb, or some sort of auxiliary verb, right? Like do or does changes to did. Is, are, like in the present continuous, changes to was or were. Okay? Has or have, in the present perfect, changes to had, or the past perfect. Okay, so basically the lesson from that is any main or auxiliary verb in the present changes to the past. And then, if we already have a verb in the past, what change does this result in indirect speech?
Past perfect.
Past perfect. Great. Similarly, if we have a past auxiliary verb, like in the past continuous, okay, or in the past perfect, these change to the past tenses. So, was working, well, that goes to the past perfect continuous.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're taking it one step further into the past.
Or
And then,
or one step further in the past, or more step one step further for the future, to the future. If
you mean with will?
yeah, and the
So here, it's actually taking it back in the sense that we're still talking about the past, right? Because it's kind of like this is how we express the future in the present, and would is how we indicate that we're talking about the future from the past,
okay,
or
yeah,
in the past.
or
Okay?
might. Can you use might or not?
He said he might. You could use might. If there's more doubt. Yep. Yep. Okay. And then, as we said before, can changes to could. Okay. Questions?
Until now, and so far no.
Okay, until now. All right, and then this I think you'll know, right? So I don't think we need to review this, right? Because it really, what pronoun you're changing to and from depends very much on the sentence. So this we'll look at with some practice, right? But just remember, you have to change subject pronouns, object pronouns, and possessive pronouns or possessive adjectives. Okay, and then we have all of these time words. And this is a lot to remember, which I think will, get easier with practice as well. But I just want you to take a look at these. Okay, and so we have now changes to then. Today to that day. This afternoon to that afternoon. Tonight to that night. Tomorrow to the following day. Yesterday to the day before. Next week to the following week. And last week to the week before. Okay, and there's no easy way to remember these except that if you have next, it usually translates to following. So next week, next month, next year, all of that would be the following week, the following month, the following year. The same with last week, right? You can say the week before, the previous week, the year before, the previous year, the month before, the previous month. Okay? And just in general, this changes to that, right? Like in this afternoon, that afternoon. These changes to those. Here changes to there. And come changes to go. And so if you'll notice, all of these words in red, which we use in indirect speech, indicate a sort of distance, right? Here, we're talking about something that's close by. But now, in indirect speech, we use there because it's more removed, right? It's no longer close by, and things like that. The same with all of these words. Okay, any questions?
No.
All right. So, are you ready to do some practice?
It depends on the example you say.
It depends on the examples. Okay. All right. So we'll start. We'll start with some. I don't think they're too difficult, and we'll just be practicing changing from direct to reported speech. Okay. That's what the goal of all of this is. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'll just give you some exercises to work on your own. Okay, and then we'll go over them as a group. All right. Okay, and we had a few people join us just now. Let's see. Nader?
Yes, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Great, how are you?
Good, thanks. You're just in time to do some practice. Okay?
Okay.
All right, great. And AK Ken?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. Good. So I'm going to share my screen with all of you, and what we're practicing is changing sentences from direct to reported speech. Okay? All right. So can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here are the instructions. You want to rewrite the sentences in reported speech, changing the pronouns and time expressions where necessary. So basically all of the things that we talked about before, I want you to put into practice with this exercise. Okay, so let's do the first one together. If we have the first sentence in direct speech, she said, "I am reading." How would we transform this into reported speech?
She said that she was reading.
Excellent. Okay? Perfect. So changing the pronoun, I to she, the verb tense, am to was. So present to past. Okay, so I want you to do the same thing for numbers 2 through 10. Work on this on your own. I'll give you, 4 or 5 minutes. And then we will discuss the answers after that. Okay, are people still working or have you finished?
Two more.
Two more. Okay, I'll give you another few minutes. Take your time.
Could you please check the question in the chat box?
Sure.
Thank you.
I don't see anything in the Verbling box or in the Google chat box.
A Verbling box.
I can't see anything.
Okay, I'll copy and paste again.
Yeah, copy it again.
Maybe on. Okay, it's not working.
Ah, there it is. Okay. See. One off-topic question. That is quite an off-topic question. Did this happen to you, Nader?
Yes, so I need to get the number for this. So should I ask for lost notification number or is it
let's see. I think
lost notification or lost notice or what?
You know, I don't know if we have a specific term for that. Let me think for a minute. I would say we would probably report that as lost or stolen goods. We talk about reporting lost and stolen goods to the police.
Lost or stolen goods. So
yeah.
If I need to get the report numbers, so what is the term for this? Is it lost report number or lost notification number? Or?
To be honest, I'm not completely sure. I've never lost my ID card, but the only thing I can think of here is I know that in police reports we often talk about filing a report for lost and stolen goods. I would search for this.
So yes.
Something like this. I feel like if you search that on the internet, you might at least find some more information that can help you.
Yes, so the term I'm asking about this report or notification number. So if you already filed the report or reported the matter to the police, so now there is this case is registered. So I'm asking about, shall I ask for lost notification number or lost report number or what? So I need to get the number of this.
Okay. Then I would say maybe the report number.
Report
or the
number,
record, or the record of the report for a lost item.
Yes, could you please write it?
Or the record number for a report. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry that happened. Okay.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
All right. So I think hopefully now everyone has had time to finish these. So let's go over the answers. Who can read sentence number 2 and tell me how they would change this to recorded speech?
I can do.
Okay.
The number 2, they said we are busy, and the answer in reported speech is they said that they were busy. We have to change the verb in present simple are into past simple were.
Excellent. Good. And changing the pronoun as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Good. Number 3.
Yes.
Okay.
He said, I know a better restaurant. He said that he knew a better restaurant.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. Number 4.
Number 4. She said, I woke up early. She said that she had woken up early.
Excellent. Okay, and so what change did you make here?
I changed the past simple into the past perfect.
Excellent. And why did you do that?
Because it's the correct way.
The correct way, exactly. And the explanation is because we're talking about a time that's even more in the past, and the past perfect indicates that.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5.
He said
Okay, go now. Go.
he said that he would ring her.
Excellent. Perfect. So the future, if we have the simple future, changes to would. Number 6.
Sorry, teacher, just about 5. I didn't understand the meaning, not the meaning.
Okay. So to ring someone, good question. So to ring someone means to call someone.
Okay.
To call someone on the phone.
Here?
Her.
Her.
So
Okay.
he said he would. He said I will
Okay.
call her, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And this is British English. Oops. To ring someone, we don't really say this in the United States, but it's very common, I think, in British English. Just to know. Good question. Okay, and number 6. This one is the most difficult.
They said we had just left when it started raining, and they said that they had just left when it had started raining.
Perfect. Okay. Explain to me and the rest of the class what you did here.
I changed the first pronoun we into they, and the first clause or part of the sentence is in past perfect. Then we cannot change it for further back into more past. Then we put in the same.
Excellent.
And the second part is it's in past simple, and then we have to change it into past perfect.
Great, excellent. Yeah, and so this is something I didn't mention, but Jorge did this perfectly, right? If you already have a verb in the past perfect, we had left, it simply stays the same, right? As he said, we can't go any further back into the past, so we keep it in the past perfect. All right.
Okay.
Very good. Number 7.
Okay. He said, I will clean the car. He said that he would clean the car.
Perfect. Number 8.
She said that she did not say that.
Okay, and explain what you did here.
Explain?
So what changes did you make?
Okay. I changed the subject after that from I to C.
So, teacher, can we say she said that she had not said that?
Yeah, okay, so actually, Ken, you're missing one thing, right? Because here, you actually didn't change the verb tense. So what tense is the original verb in?
Past.
Yeah, so past, simple. So that means we have to change it to what?
Past perfect.
Past perfect.
Okay. She
but
had.
Go ahead.
She had not said.
Had not said that or hadn't said that. Absolutely. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Number 9.
A question, teacher.
Yes.
Should I change the that into those? For example, she said that she had not said those.
Okay, no. So I think you've confused a few things because so this if the sentence said, she said, I did not say this, right? This changes to that. Or what about, I did not say these things? Okay, these changes to those. She had not said those things.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay,
Thank
good.
you.
No problem. Okay, number 9.
Okay, she said she had not known where her shoes were.
Where her shoes were, he said. Okay, almost perfect. Almost perfect. The one problem is this verb. Oops. So had it known. So here you have past perfect, but the original verb is actually in the simple present.
Yeah. Okay. She didn't know.
Excellent. Good.
Okay.
Good. And very good here, right? So you change the possessive adjective, my, to her. And then this is important, right? Where her shoes were in the past. Good. So we actually have 2 verbs here that we had to change. Okay. And the last sentence.
He said that. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. He said that he won't. From the first, sorry. He said, I won't tell anymore. He said that he won't tell anymore. He would not.
Good.
Would not tell anymore.
Perfect. Right? He wouldn't tell anyone. So here, yeah, because what is won't? It's the equivalent of will not, right? So it's just basically the simple future. Okay, and so that changes to wouldn't. Okay, I want you to look at one last practice sentence that's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so take a minute and try to transform this final sentence into the past perfect. Or sorry, the past perfect. What am I saying? Into the into indirect or reported speech. Okay, any ideas?
Yes,
All right.
I think it's James said they hadn't seen the new car yet, but he had seen it the day before.
Excellent, yeah. And here we have the option of adding that, right, just to make it a little bit more clear. But that, da-da-da, but that, da-da-da, right? So kind of keeping our structure parallel. Great. So you change the present perfect to the past perfect. You changed all of the pronouns appropriately, right? And then you change the past to the past perfect. You change the time marker to the appropriate indirect time marker. Okay. And are there questions about this sentence?
Just the second part, but I saw it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Why we change it to the past perfect? Because in the past
Because
simple.
it's in the past simple, and so past simple changes to past perfect.
Yeah, clear. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, and so we're actually out of time. I wish we could practice some more difficult examples, but maybe I'll do another class on, advanced direct and indirect speech. So thank you all very much for coming to class and participating. Very good work. If you have any questions at all, or you're confused about anything still, feel free to send me a message. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you soon in class.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, teacher. See you.